all set to go at the line. These vehicles do have a safety kill switch that's attached to them, so if they come loose from the drag, it will shut them down immediately. It is a safety feature on them. So all the vehicles you see pulling tonight will have this safety chain hooked up. All tightened up and ready to go at the line. Gets the okay from the starter. Here comes Paul Van Herk, and just another puller. Is that horsepower or what? Paul Van Herk going all the way through 300 feet with just another puller. Modified pulling tractor from Stewiacke, Nova Scotia. Let's give Paul a big hand doing a fine job there for us. Those of you who haven't seen monster trucks before, and introduce them to you. First coming out, looks like it's going to be Boris, which is owned by Larry Albert Sr., driven by Larry Albert Jr. They put a brand new sheet metal on the vehicle this year, so it's a 1990 Ford F-350, 604 cubic inches of blown injected engine. I want to tell you, this is quite a vehicle. 1,600 horsepower, 2.5-ton transfer case, 12 feet high, 12 feet wide, 15,000 pounds, and it makes a little bit of noise. A very, very pretty, meticulously built vehicle. Boris the Monster Truck from right here in St. John, New Brunswick. Larry Albert Jr. Yeah. 1,600 horsepower there, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see them crushing cars here just after a little while, our evening finale. And here comes the trailer truck, now named after me likely, simply irresponsible. David Richard from East Vallisboro, Maine. Only 21 years old, but a monster truck driver now for 1 year. 454 cubic inch of Chev engine run this vehicle. $100,000 US it cost to build it. Doesn't sound like it's any slouch either. Fine-looking truck, two fine-looking red trucks tonight. And that's what you call a big donut. Make the people standing by the gate there just sort of think a little bit. He'll be going head-to-head with Boris later on in the show. Just want to introduce him to you now. David Richard in Simply Irresponsible from East Vallisboro, Maine. And his own idea of what a dust storm is. He'll be back later on. Let's hear it for him. These boys are here to put on a good show for us this evening. Of course, we have a Chev and a Ford, which is the age-old competition. Who's going to win, the Chev or the Ford?
Well, the sled is the second most important part, I guess. They have to have something to haul down the track, and the idea of the sled is to stop them. After they get a half decent pull, part way down or whatever, we set the box so that it pulls ahead on the sled, and somewhere down the line it stops them.
Okay, now you've got a lot of weight in there. Approximately how much weight would you have in that?
The whole sled weighs about 38,000 pounds. In the box is about 25.
Okay, and that's varied depending on the circumstance. Whether there's a full pull, you have to add weight?
No, we don't add anything. What we do is change the gears. Inside the framework, there's two transmissions, gear mechanism, and we can make the box go faster or slower. And so different sizes trucks, different motors, whatever, we put it in different gears, and that box goes up faster and puts weight on the sled part of it sooner.
I see.
This is the super stock division. They must run small block engines. They must have streetable tires. The rear tires are bigger, but they can be run on the street. And here comes the first truck now. Bill Sear from Danforth, Maine. You hear the engine run, you know what I mean about super stock. State-of-the-art parts in this vehicle, but it is a small block engine. Either 350 or 400 small blocks in most of these vehicles. And Bill Sear, a very fierce competitor, coming all the way down from Danforth, Maine today, in the Agitator. And small block Chevy come down your way as we start our two-wheel drive Superstock. This pull does count. First pull in our competitive class this evening. Two-wheel drive Superstock, Bill Sear in the Agitator. And up to the 200-foot mark, a fine pull for Bill Sear. Remember, this is competition. We must stop the trucks. Bill can change his mind. Where he was the first puller in the class, he may opt to pull again in third place, and that's up to him, or he may accept this pull. They can check with him to see what he wants to do, but he can pull again if he wishes to, or he may accept that pull. And that first pull for Bill Sear, 199 feet, 6 inches. Next truck coming up to the line is one that's a brand new vehicle this year. Jerry Curtis from Fredericton in 1989. Chevy half-ton, sponsored by J. Clark and Son of Fredericton, called Temper Tantrum. Jerry's had a little engine trouble this year, built a couple of motors, and this engine he has running tonight has worked very well for him. Very, very pretty machine, taking most of last winter to build this vehicle. Jerry Curtis from Fredericton in Temper Tantrum 2. I was asking what he had for parts in his engine, and it sounded like a hot rod magazine. Whatever you can see in the hot rod magazine, those parts are in that engine. The best of the best. Getting ready to go at the line, and he gets the flag, and away he goes. Jerry Curtis in Temper Tantrum. And getting off a little bit sideways there. Down near the 180-foot mark. We'll have the exact measurement in a moment, but a fine pull. The reason they go sideways sometimes is to get too much weight on one side of the vehicle, and of course the torque of the vehicle will cause it to pull one way, which is what happened to Jerry that time. And I guess there's no problem. He's all set to go. Very pretty vehicle. The Temper Tantrum from Fredericton, New Brunswick, Jerry Curtis. 187 feet 5 inches, good enough for second place so far. Bill Sear still in first place with the Agitator. Another vehicle that's an arch rival of Bill Sear coming up to the line now, Bob Fry in the Dustbuster from Danforth, Maine. This vehicle has a 350 engine in it, 1974 GMC, and is a fine, fine pulling vehicle. Up in the Maine area, the most popular class is this two-wheel drive Superstock class, and very glad to have these fellows traveling clear down from the state of Maine this evening to be with us to pull here at our EPR pull, first one here in St. John. This will be the last truck in the two-wheel drive Superstock class, so he has to go by the 200-foot mark in order to be in first place. Has it all set to go, waiting for the signal from the starter. And is off the line, the Dustbuster. Oh, that looks like it's going to be close. He's up near the 200-foot mark. We're going to have a measurement on that, trying everything he could to keep the vehicle going straight. And a good sign on the side of that vehicle, say no to drugs. Bob Fry. Coming with us tonight from Danforth, Maine. Very pretty vehicle. This one just painted not too long ago. Oh, that was a close one. 202 feet. And 3 inches for the Dustbuster. Bob Fry will come in first place. Bill Sear in the Agitator comes second. And Jerry Curtis in Temper Tantrum third in the two-wheel drive Superstock class, first class of the evening. Waiting now for the four-wheel drive modified. First two four-wheel drives up tonight are from the St. John area. Bill Murray will be the first one up the line in Spring Fever. Spring Works here in St. John. In one of the smaller four-wheel drives pulling the competition, as you can see from all the weight he has piled on the front of it. It takes a lot for him to get up to 6,200 pounds with this little Ranger pickup. Bill originally did some mud bogging and so on, but he kind of likes his pulling game, so here this evening as our first competitor in our four-wheel drive class. All set to go at the line, waiting for the signal from the starter. Spring fever time. Oh, that drag must be heavy. He does not have to accept that pull. He can go back and pull again in third place if he wishes, so we'll have to see what Bill thinks on that one. Out near the 100-foot mark, but he may pull again if he wishes. We'll see what he says. Very pretty little truck there, Spring Fever, from right here in St. John, Bill Murray. Next vehicle coming up the line, also from St. John, very aptly named, Grounds for Divorce. And Randy Wood, the driver of this vehicle. Randy, body man by trade, and as you can see from this very pretty vehicle, a good body man. Building this vehicle a couple of years ago and putting a lot of work into it over the past winter. A very pretty four-wheel drive truck, and also a local boy from right here in St. John, Randy Wood. And getting everything all set to go at the line. Randy will be our second puller. I guess they're going to accept that first pull. Well, I guess I'm wrong on that. Bill Murray will be back with Spring Fever and try one more time. He'll pull in third place. So this will be our first official puller of this class now, Randy Wood. And all set to go now, waiting for the signal from the starter. And he's on his way, I believe. There he goes, Randy Wood. I believe you call that shake, rattle, and roll. Getting down over the 150-foot mark, fine job. Got a little bit of a bounce that time for Randy. Held him back a little bit, but we'll see how that pull stands up. Our first official pull of the four-wheel drive class, up over the 150-foot mark, near 175 feet. Coming up to the line now, the 1989 Maritime Champion, Donnie McKay, and he's driving a Dodge, which may sound funny, but he does a fine job with this vehicle. He calls it the Beast of Burden. He's been pulling now about 6 years with it from Nova Scotia, near Glenholm, Nova Scotia. You know where that is? Coming all the way up tonight to compete in this class. 440 cubic inch Dodge motor in this machine. And a very nice man, a very fine puller. Always glad to have Donnie around at our various pulls. He's been all over the Maritimes. McKay ready at the line now in the Beast of Burden, 440 cubic inches of Dodge coming down the track. Hey, say a full pull for Donnie McKay in the Beast of Burden. Putting him up in the first place right now in the four-wheel drive modified class. Setting the standard for everybody else to follow. They must pull 300 feet now in order to be tied for first place, and we will have a pull-off in this class for the winner. If there's more than one person pulls through, we'll have to have a pull-off. Next truck coming up the line, coming all the way from Halifax, Nova Scotia, Bill Brown. This truck doesn't break off, he just calls it empty pockets, because it costs a lot of money to run one of these things. And Bill, one of the few pullers around in the modified truck class, still relying on a 350 small block Chevy engine. And there's very few times that Bill isn't in the money. He really has this 350 turning on and does a fine job wherever he goes. I saw him break down and get back and still pull again the same night. Very competitive puller, really enjoys the sport. And he's got a long way to go for first place. He has to go clear to the 300-foot mark. We do have a full pull so far, and he has that to me. Taking his time to back into the line, make sure he gets a straight pull. He doesn't want to go off sideways. I'd like to see somebody else quote over 300 feet. I'd love to see a pull-off this evening. Always fun watching that. And I think there's one of those trucks that's going to do it. I really do. Maybe it's the one right here on the track now. Always competitive. He's going to try for it, that's for sure. Looks like he's all hooked up to the drag, waiting for instructions from the starter. And he's tightened up, all set to go. And here comes Bill Brown in empty pockets. Full pull for Bill Brown in a little 350 cubic inch engine. He had her locked to the ground tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Really working fine. That's going to put 2 in the pull-off. When it comes around to the end of the thing, we're going to have a pull-off, definitely. And so far, we've got a Dodge and a Chev involved. Waiting now for our next four-wheel drive vehicle to come up to the line. There I see is Larry Barkley, also from Halifax, Nova Scotia. For the past 5 years, Larry has driven a 1964 Chev, a very pretty little truck. And he's built a brand new one this last year. It's, I believe, an 87 or 88 S10 truck. Built a little smaller truck. It looks like the underframe is still the same truck that he pulled before, 427 cubic inch in this vehicle, called Strictly Business. Two full pulls so far. Larry looking for the third one. We will have a pull-off after this class to decide who the winner will be. Looks like he's all set to go at the line now. Getting his okay from the starter. Larry Barkley is Strictly Business. We may have to find some more weight for that drag. Are they ever pulling that thing strong tonight? As you can see, the box is going almost all the way up. And they're pulling it through just like they're on their way to the fair. No problem with that. Another full pull. That puts 3 into the pull-off now. Next vehicle coming up to the line is the one that I thought was going to pull through in the first place. It's Gerald Pelletier. He's all the way up from Bangor, Maine. This vehicle has a 580 cubic inch alcohol engine. It was built by Jim Lyons. And if you've seen the vehicle they call Stitches on TNN or TSN, he built the engine for this truck. It's got about 1,100 horsepower, called Pelletier's Pride, and it's a fine, fine pulling truck. Pelletier's Pride pulling into the line, 580 cubic inch alcohol injected engine. 1,100 horsepower is going to be coming down the track in just a minute or two. Gerald says he runs it in high gear. He's got all kinds of horsepower, so you'll see this truck really move along after he gets the drag started. Waiting for the starters to get back in position. And we'll see if we can't have our fourth pull-off vehicle in Pelletier's Pride. And here he goes, Gerald Pelletier. All you do is idle across the 300-foot mark when you got 1,100 horsepower. You don't have to do a whole lot. He'll be back in the pull-off, and he'll be looking to go 300 feet again. I know. He likes to go over that finish line, so 4 for the pull-off. The Beast of Burden with Donnie McKay. Empty Pockets with Bill Brown. Larry Barkley in Strictly Business, and Pelletier's Pride. Bill Murray in Spring Fever will try one more time. He's got a hard job ahead of him, because he has to pull 300 feet to even be in the prize money. Now we have 4 complete pulls, so it makes it very hard to come in the prize money unless you have a full pull. Bill Murray in Spring Fever. think you get a mouthful of angleworms or something there. Engine breaking down a bit for Bill. That's too bad. Looks like he was going a lot better than the first time, but he'll have to accept that. That was his second try and his last chance. So we will have a measurement on that pull, and that will be the one that counts for Bill Murray tonight. Spring Fever.
Don't go away. There's more action yet to come. Hey, we're talking here now with Michael Harvey from Brooklyn, Nova Scotia. Your truck is Thunderbolt. Mike, can you tell me a little bit about this machine?
Yeah, we pull in the 58 and the 6200 two-wheel drive modified throughout the Maritimes, and we're running a points battle in the Maritimes, and we're exhibition pulling here tonight for this tour. And the truck, it weighs about 4,400 pounds, and we have to put enough weight on it to bring it up to the first weight class, which is 5,800, and then we pull that class, and then we go on to the 6,200, which we have to add 400 more pounds. And the thing is, to get the truck balanced out, when we hook on the sled, it puts all the weight on the back end, and as you can see, I have weights on the front end, the red ones in front of the tire. Try to bounce it out so it'll just pick the front wheels 4 to 8 inches off the ground and try to load the back tires, and then I can put the power to her and start hammering the throttle and try to get her hooked up, and hopefully I have a good run.
Well, from the looks of it, it looks like it's fast. With a name like Thunderbolt, we can expect some real noisy and fast action tonight.
Yeah, we all try to have a pretty good name, and there's a lot of good trucks in the Maritimes. They're all about the same. They're all really competitive, and if you pull out in front of one, well, I guess it means you just done your thing right and had a little luck that night, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of hard work. You know, you got to travel all night to get to some of these and travel all night to get back home, and usually it takes 3 or 4 nights through the week when you're back home to get them serviced for the next weekend, and it takes a lot of hard work for them.
And two-wheel drive modified next class up. Anybody with the two-wheel drive modifieds, we ask that they get their vehicles to the line. I'd say probably what we'll do is have our two-wheel drive modified class first, and then go on with our pull-off from our four-wheel drive class. And the gentleman I said hello to just a minute ago was Joe McAtee. This is his son Tim in scrap iron. This vehicle originally was a two-wheel drive super stock puller, and this year going modified, and may be, I believe, the top modified for 1990, pulling out of Holton, Maine. And there goes Joe down the track, a hard worker for truck pulling up for the Southern State Short Haulers, a club they have up in Maine. Boys doing a very fine job. They have some very, very competitive pulls up in that part of the country. Having their last one last weekend in Holton, Maine. Glad to have them with us here this week in St. John. They'll be back with us next week in Fredericton as we have our last points pull. And I believe Joe's right close to being in first place in our two-wheel drive modified class for the top point man, so he's going to be looking for a good run this time. Looking the track over to try to find out where the good spot is. This track seems to be working very well for pulling this evening. Staying very strong and very hard. Tim McAtee all ready to go at the line. There he goes. Full pull for the first two-wheel drive modified, Tim McAtee in scrap iron. We'll wait and check with the officials to see if they want to accept that. Maybe they want to set the drag a bit different. It seems to be pulling quite easy. I guess they've made the decision that they're going to put the sled in a different gear, make it go a little bit faster. I see Wayne Kelly down there now reading the Bible he has on how to set the gears on the drag. He'll make it go a little bit harder. Next vehicle coming up to the line now, Phil Reed from Moncton, New Brunswick. Phil's been pulling now for 3 years. Very fine looking vehicle, calls it Tons of Fun. Unique name for a pulling vehicle. An early 30s pickup, and he's made into a two-wheel drive modified puller, but a brand new engine in it this year. And he's up into the big time now. 510 cubic inch fuel injected alcohol engine. Brand new this year. And it's the first time I personally saw him pull with this engine. We'll have to see how that works. Phil Reed from Moncton, Tons of Fun. And it sounds like he's got some real horsepower there now. Phil Reed from Moncton, New Brunswick, and Tons of Fun. didn't work either. Two-wheel drive modifieds are really hooking up strong tonight. Phil started to come over this way, and I said, no, I guess I'll go over to the stables. Just take a drive down through. Gilbert coming back up the line now in the Grim Reaper, 1947 International. 429 Ford power in this machine. Paddy from Fredericton, New Brunswick, pulling now for the past 3 years. And also does a mean wheel stand when you ask him to. I don't think he's going to set for wheel stands this time. He's going to try to keep the front end down and go down the track. A lot of the boys in this sport were all former drag racers or motorsports enthusiasts of some kind. Your mud bog runners, hill climbers, all seem to be drawn to the sport of truck pulling. Some good interest here in the St. John area. If you're interested in getting into the truck pulling game, I know a couple of them that are for sale. And if you check with some of the people out there, they'll get you right into the sport. Here goes Paddy Gilbert. Just run a little short on power, way up over the 250-foot mark, and did a full wheel stand while he did it. Paddy Gilbert in the Grim Reaper two-wheel drive vehicle. Coming up after the two-wheel drive modified class, we'll have the Towing Inferno back out on the track, as well as the Mack Attack Pull Toy 1, the big Freightliner truck. Put one more demonstration pull for you. Then we're going to have a short intermission. Then we'll have our monster truck show. It takes us a few moments to set the track up for the monster truck show. So after we get done our pulling, we will do that. Have a short intermission, then put on some car crushing like you haven't seen before. Outdoors is a lot better than indoors. They can really get some good speed built up when they're crushing. They'll be flying through the air, clearing the vehicles. That's our finale for this evening. Simply Irresponsible and Boris, the monster truck, our two trucks here this evening. Scrap iron now back at the line. Tim McAtee from Holton, Maine in his old Ford scrap iron. This truck's been around for a long time, and I think it was a champion this year. It was last year. It's always right up there in the top money. Fine pulling truck out of Holton, Maine. The McAtee boys doing all the work on this vehicle themselves. Tim got off a bit sideways that time and get down near the 200-foot mark, but that'll have to be all. It's going a little bit in the wrong direction that trip through. Again, the drag has been set in the different gear, so it is pulling harder than it was, and hopefully we can stop these vehicles this trip through. Fine pull over Tim McAtee and scrap iron from Holton, Maine. Due up on the line now, Mike Harvey in Thunderbolt. In many of the two-wheel drive modified, you'll see the front wheels off the ground, but inside the cab there's two handles, one for the rear, each rear tire, so they have individual rear brakes. So if the vehicles start going sideways, like the last one did, they're able to steer them from brakes inside the vehicle. And Thunderbolt is a vehicle that has been designed this way. Even if the wheels come off the ground, he can still steer it from two sticks that he has inside, one for the right wheel, one for the left. So he can, if you see him going sideways, you may see the vehicle jerk around and change direction. That's Mike using his handbrakes to keep him in a straight line down the track. Getting all set to go at the line now, waiting for the drag crew to get back in position, getting the okay from the starter, Mike Harvey in Thunderbolt. I said it was well engineered all the way down over the 300-foot mark. Mike Harvey in Thunderbolt from Windsor, Nova Scotia. All kinds of RPMs and horsepower here at A&E's first annual truck pull. Two-wheel drive modified class going on right now.
The motor develops between 12 and 1400 horsepower. Burns methanol alcohol. It's the only blown alcohol truck in the Maritimes.
So that makes it kind of unique. Does that mean it runs in its own class, or?
No, it does run in the two-wheel drive modified class. We create more horsepower than some of the other trucks. A lot of times we run for show, but tonight we are running for competition. So
You're in a points chase for the big finale next week in Fredericton, I believe.
I guess you might say that, yeah.
Okay, I hope you have good luck next.
Kelly at the wheel, going all the way down to 300 feet. Of our pull-off vehicles, empty pockets. Bill Brown from Halifax, Nova Scotia, all set to get the okay from the starter. They'll tighten the chain up, then he'll be underway. First of our pull-off vehicles, empty pockets. Bill Brown from Halifax, Nova Scotia, all set to get the okay from the starter. And he's on his way. Empty pockets, Bill Brown. Bill had a fine pull going there, stopping before the 250-foot mark, but I think he had some problem in the rear differential. The rear tire stopped spinning, so I say probably broke a universal joint or maybe a gear in the rear end. That vehicle did stop spinning on the rear end and pulled through with the front end, so I think Bill does have some problems in the back end of the truck. Nevertheless, a fine pull in the pull-off, up near the 250-foot mark, probably 235, 40 feet, so a good pull. That will have to count. They only have one chance in the pull-off. They have to take what they get. And Bill will move up out of the way, but I do think he has some differential problems in the back end of that vehicle. All set to go at the line now. Donnie McKay hooked on in the Beast of Burton, waiting for the drag operators to get back on the machine, and there goes the signal from the starter. Donnie McKay in the Beast of Burton. His attempt to be the winner in the four-wheel drive modified class. He's off the line. And up near the 250-foot mark for Donnie McKay. Looks like it's good enough for first place so far in the four-wheel drive modified class. The 440 Dodge of Donnie McKay, the Beast of Burton, second truck to pull in the four-wheel drive other modified class. And Larry Barkley now getting set to go at the line, getting some last-minute instructions. Getting the vehicle hooked on and properly set up. Now tightening the chain, looks like everything's all set to go. This will be the third in our pull-off in the four-wheel drive modified class, one to go after this. Getting the okay from the drag master, and they're on his way. Larry Barkley, strictly business. And out over the 250-foot mark. down a little bit farther. Puts Larry Barkley now in first place so far in the four-wheel drive class. They keep going farther and farther and farther. Will one of them reach the 300-foot mark? Yet to see. Keep your eye on this one. This is going to be a good run. He's going to go at least 277 feet for the win. Getting the chain tightened up. And now waiting for the signal from the dragmaster to the starter, and there goes the go. He's on his way. Gerald Pelletier, Pelletier's Pride, going for the win in the four-wheel drive modified class. That's 300 feet for Gerald Pelletier, a full ball. He is the winner of the four-wheel drive modified class. Really digging down deep that time, the big 510 big block, and going all the way down to 300 feet. He will be the winner of the four-wheel drive modified class. Second place going out to Larry Barkley in Strictly Business, and third place to Donnie McKay. Fourth place going to Bill Brown. Congratulations going out to those four drivers. They're the first. Back into the line. He's now tightening up the chain. Looks like he's all set to go. All revved up, waiting for the signal from the starter. And Mike Harvey in Thunderbolt in the two-wheel drive modified pull-off. First vehicle to go. Foot mark, no problem for Mike Harvey. Almost had let off. He really had a wheel in that time. Still puts him in first place in two-wheel drive modified class. Can Phil Reed pull it through too? He'll have to in order to be first place. Okay, we've just heard Phil Reed's truck had a problem the first time it run through, so he's not going to be able to go again. We're going to have to give the win to Mike Harvey. And Phil Reed will take second place in that poll. Third place going to Patty Kilburn in the Grim Reaper. Going to decide who does the best wheel stand. Is it Simply Irresponsible or Boris? This is the first one coming out now. Simply Irresponsible. David Richard from East Ballsboro, Maine. 454 powered, 700 horsepower. Monster truck. Both the truck and the driver have been at it 1 year. The Gators ride split them tonight. I see it on that side. Here comes the wheel stand run. There he goes. Simply Irresponsible. Up and over and bouncing away. First one to go. Let's hear it for Simply Irresponsible. He's going to make a back run, too. You get two chances to watch him. Going to come back over the other way, so be set, be ready. Get your cameras out. Simply Irresponsible is about ready to make his second half of his run. He's getting ready to go. Coming up to the car, getting lined up. He'll then back up and make a run at the cars. Watch the front end of this truck go up in the air. This is the wheel stand contest. David Richard from East Ballsboro, Maine, and Simply Irresponsible. He's getting ready to make a run at this. So keep your eyes on this vehicle. Our monster truck show here at A&E, and here he comes. Let's see those wheels fly from Simply Irresponsible. And those cars are crushed some now. Let's have a big hand for David Richard and Simply Irresponsible from East Ballsboro, Maine. Our first competitor tonight in a monster truck contest doing the wheel stands for us. Thank you very much, David. And as soon as he turns the truck around, we'll be looking for the other monster to come out. From St. John, New Brunswick, Larry Albert Jr. in Boris, the Maritime Monster Truck. 1,600 horsepower starting up down there in the back, on the front stretch rather. And he'll be coming up and making his run to a wheel stand. He'll be out next. Remember, Larry's the most experienced of the two in this monster truck business. Been at it for 3 years now. Jumped over a lot of cars and crushed a lot of metal with this truck. Okay. And here comes Boris. 604 cubic inches. About ready to crush some cars, yeah. And here he comes, coming up to the cars, lining up. Get your cameras ready to watch the wheels fly as Boris heads out over these cars. Backing up. Here he goes. He's getting lined up. He's getting ready. Here goes Boris. Up and over. How about that for Boris the monster truck? Stood it right on its end. Whoa! What a show from Larry Albert Jr. Stood it right on its end. He's coming back. He's going to make another run. Here he comes. Get your cameras ready. This is run number 2 in the wheel stand contest. Here comes Boris. Larry Albert Jr. Whoa! Up and over one more time. Let's hear it for Larry Albert Jr. and Boris Monster Truck. Okay, let's let Larry hear some of that applause. What do you think of that wheel stand run? Yes, sir. Boris from St. John, the winner by far in the wheel stand contest, standing that truck right on end and keeping control and going up and over the cars. What a job for Larry Albert Jr. Whew. How many people thought that was going to upset? I did for sure. That's the first part of the show, but we're not done yet. Right now, we're going to have a drag race between these two trucks, between Boris and Simply Irresponsible. They're going to go heads up in a drag race. The only difference is they must run over the 5 cars in front of them, then turn and come back and run over them again. Oh, Boris is ready for this one. He's ready to go. Ready to go. Getting lined up at the line now. Get your cameras ready. This is the finale of our show this evening. The two monsters are backing up. They're all lined up. Starter getting them in position so they're right on. They're all set to go. Waiting for a signal from both starters. Okay on the right side. Okay, getting everybody in position. This is the drag race portion. This should be fun. Keep your eyes on this. Simply Irresponsible up against Boris the Monster Truck. Chev against Ford. There they go. And now they must turn around, but Simply Irresponsible looks like it might have stopped. I don't know if we have a problem with Simply Irresponsible or not. It seems the vehicle's not going to start. Maybe something on hook. Boris taking lots of time because he knows he's got lots. He wants to have a race out of this. He's waiting for him. Saying, ha, 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 my Ford's still running, your Chev isn't. Good sportsman, Larry Albert, giving the Chev every chance to get going. Isn't it great to own a Ford and have it all running and have a Chev not running? Uh-oh. And Larry Albert Jr. is going to continue the race. We know he's going to win. There he goes, up and over with Boris. An easy winner. Maybe he'll make another loop and come back, who knows? Yes, he's going to. He's going to make one more run. Boris will put on the show for you. Just ask him. Here comes Boris, the monster truck, with one more run up and over the cars. Have your cameras ready. Here comes Boris, ready to go. He's going to step on it. There he goes. And the easy winner for a monster truck competition tonight, Larry Albert Jr. and Boris, the monster truck from right here in St. John. Listen, a big hand for Larry. Stay back off the track, folks. Simply Irresponsible's back running again. He may want to crush some cars some more. Let's give the boy a chance. Come all the way up from East Bellsboro, Maine. Simply Irresponsible is running, so please stay back off the track area for one more moment. We'll see what they're going to do. There he goes, and Simply Irresponsible. He may turn around and make a run back over the cars. Please stay back off the track, folks. Stay back off the track. The monsters are still running. Stay back off the track area. Please stay back. Here he comes. He's going to run over those cars. He's going to finish his race. Here he comes. He's going to give you your money's worth before he goes home. Going to back up and take one more run at those cars. And the final run now for Simply Irresponsible. He's going to come up over the cars one more time for you. And there he goes. Simply Irresponsible from East Bellsboro, Maine. A big hand for the Monster Show here as we finish off the truck pull at A&E 90. Thank you all very much for coming. Have a safe trip home. Don't forget the grandstand, or the area is still open over at the fairgrounds. Stop by, have a look at the monster trucks. Thank you very much for coming, and good night.